Are you struggling to get media and influencers to notice your hospitality business? I know for a lot of you in the hospitality business, you see influencers and media as a necessary evil. Well, today I'm going to explain, yes, why they are necessary. Media and influencers can be game changers for building buzz and increasing sales for your hospitality business, but they're not evil, and you can have positive relationships with them and get them to notice your hospitality business all without breaking the bank. Hi, I'm Trina, and I've helped hospitality businesses with their PR and marketing for almost 10 years. My business partner Rachel and I started Your Marketing Blueprint to help small to medium-sized hospitality businesses DIY their own PR and marketing without hiring an expensive agency or breaking the bank. A little bit about me. So in my past life, I helped brand and promote what originally started as basically a vacant lot full of a few plants and rocks. And with my team, including my awesome business partner, Rachel Pinzer, we branded it and positioned it as Miami's first outdoor food hall and entertainment venue. It thrived for many years, getting local and national praise and even attracting the attention of entertainers like Shakira, Chris Martin from Coldplay, Protege, and Natti Natasha, who all wanted to play on the stage at the Wynwood Yard. The Wynwood Yard was a place where you could bring your grandma and your dog, but Dwayne Wade and Gabriel Union might also pop up for brunch. It was so cool. But eventually the landlord sold the land after several years. A big piece of the Wynwood Yard success and its follow-up business, the Doral Yard success, was getting continuous attention from media and influencers. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we did that today. Now let's talk about why attracting media and influencers to your business are important a little bit before we dive into the 5 steps. So what does media do to help your business? Basically, media still to this day provides third-party validation and it adds legitimacy to your business to a broad audience. It can be also really helpful for reaching your target audience if you target media who also are speaking to people in your niche. However, obviously, in this day and age, we also need to be engaging with influencers because influencers also connect with our audiences on a super personal level. They create their own content, which can showcase your brand, your business, your experiences, and help build FOMO among the general audience in a way that traditional media just doesn't. So they each have their advantages and you need both. So one example of this was Jungle Island's Jungle Splash event, which was a whole new component of water activities at the already popular attraction. So we ran a VIP media and influencer event, inviting them for select days to have an experience and create content. This resulted in a viral influencer post with 2 million views, and we also got about 162 million media impressions from the VIP visit. It also helped boost their positioning in terms of community engagement because we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club of Miami to invite the children for a complimentary day of fun, and that also helped both garner media and do something great for the community for Jungle Island. So now let's start with 5 steps to get media and influencers interested in your business. Step 1 is to create an experience. Media and influencers get so many invites these days. I think it's really important to create some kind of experience to differentiate your invitation and make it stand out from the rest. Unfortunately, these days, stop in for a free meal might get you noticed by some, but it's just not going to have the same traction that creating an experience might. So some examples of this could be a sit-down dinner on a set day where you invite a lot of media and influencers, but maybe you theme it with something that's going on. For example, is the World Cup coming up or something else exciting that you might layer onto the event to make it even more buzzworthy? Or is there a seasonal aspect like the holidays or fall? Something that could add to the experience, whether it's live entertainment or some kind of DIY activity that the media and influencers can do at your event. It also doesn't have to be a one-time event. Sometimes I think it's almost easier to start with maybe, let's say, rolling invitations throughout a period of a week or two. And by rolling invitations, I mean just maybe creating a Google form invite where you give media influencers different times that they can visit and just request perhaps 2 days advance notice, whatever works best for your business, because media and influencers often have so many commitments that sometimes it's a little easier, especially in the beginning when you're building the relationship, to get them in on that one-on-one basis. But that way you can also plan ahead and anticipate their visit instead of them just surprising you and showing up. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So having some kind of event to attract them and showcase whatever it is you want to highlight. Are you trying to promote a new menu? Are you trying to highlight a new dish? Is there not really that much new going on, but you just haven't gotten that much attention? Again, think about how an event can help you showcase this in a more experiential way to influencers and media. Step 2, create an irresistible invite. So in PR, we call this a pitch, but really it's just an invitation. So the first thing to do is research who might be good to invite to your event. You're going to want to start small. I say it's better to have maybe 5 to 7 quality media and influencers attend your event than a whole bunch who aren't really necessarily speaking to your audience. And in order to do that, you're going to have to do some research. Then you're going to want to create a list of 15 to 20 media and influencers to invite to your event. You're going to want to invite more people because usually, especially the first time you do this, maybe 1/3 of the people will reply or be able to attend due to their busy schedules. And if you want to know more about tracking down media and influencers and sort of getting their contact info, I have a cool little section on that in my How to Get Media and Influencers to Say Yes PDF that is linked in the show notes for this video. So anyway, you're going to want to do your research because nothing says I don't care, like say sending a coffee and wine enthusiast an invite to an ice cream restaurant or sending an invitation to an influencer who lives like half a country away, nowhere near your business. So you're going to want to spend a little bit of time. It's going to pay off. And then you're going to want to craft a targeted invite. Sure, you're going to have maybe the main details in everybody's invitation, but you're going to want to have some kind of intro that shows you've either read the media person's articles recently, maybe comment on something that really intrigued you that they recently wrote about or covered in the TV news, or just mention something you really like that maybe an influencer did recently. Or you can also mention, for example, how your audiences might align or why their audiences might be interested in this topic, right? Because that's what they're thinking about too, especially those in the media. They're thinking about, okay, how can I make interesting content for my audience? And you're there to help solve that problem with your exciting new event. So once you make the invite personal, you're going to want to add, the basic who, what, where, when, why. It's really important to also include a link to RSVP, again, so you can plan and see who's attending. And a Google form is a really easy way to do this. And then it will create a spreadsheet for you where you can easily see who RSVP'd. Another key thing is to create a subject line to your invitation that's going to want to make people open it. You can use ChatGPT or other AI tools for this, but you're going to want to think about what would make me want to read this email. Really highlight the juicy parts of your experience or the enticing part of your menu, something new and different that might entice them. Obviously, this doesn't apply if you're DMing influencers, but maybe you're going to want to think about that for the first sentence of your DM to them. So that's step 2, crafting an irresistible invite. So now we come to step 3, plan shareable moments. And what I mean by this is, again, look through media and influencers' eyes and think about what's going to make their job even easier, what's going to make it even more attractive for them to promote your business. Whether it's making your table that you've set very visually attractive, of course, making all of your dishes and drinks, if you're doing that, super photogenic. Maybe having like a DIY experience that will just make some fun content for them. I also definitely recommend hiring a professional videographer or photographer if you can. And if not, work with someone on your team or even a friend who's great with iPhone video to record some horizontal video and vertical video, and then take some awesome photos that you can easily share with the media and the influencers after the event so that they have ready-made content. Of course, they might be creating their own, but you want to make it as easy as possible. And also, you can use that B-roll and photography later when you want to pitch your business to others who might not have been able to attend the event. And again, I want to emphasize high quality. Quality is better than quantity, both in terms of how many people you invite and the photos and video you share. You want some high quality photos and high quality video. The sound is not going to be as important for your video as the visuals that maybe TV news can use as B-roll or an influencer can use to supplement their own social media content. So now we get to step 4, prepare your team. I cannot tell you how important this step is. So basically, it's as simple as make sure your team knows that this event is happening. Make sure they understand the logistics of it, what's happening when. And if you're doing more rolling media and influencer invites, make sure to give them a heads up when these media and influencers are attending so you can put your best foot forward as a business. I can't tell you how many times, both in my former role as a food writer and journalist, and as a PR person, I've seen businesses drop the ball in this way. And it's so sad after all that legwork, sending out the invites, getting them to come to your business. Sometimes just having the cashier who's supposed to know that they're coming maybe give some pushback about what they're supposed to get for free. That can just leave a bad taste in influencers' mouths. It doesn't make someone feel welcome. So again, prepare your team both ahead of time and give them final reminders on the day of. And I always feel like unless someone is super taking advantage, give them the benefit of the doubt. Empower your team. Okay, maybe this isn't the exact dish that you're supposed to offer the influencer, but empower your team to maybe give them a little extra if that's what they ask for, or maybe they have a food allergy. And that way it doesn't become this whole logistical struggle. That's not what you want the media or influencers to remember about your business. So again, I can't say this enough. This is where I see hospitality businesses dropping the ball after all that hard work of getting media and influencers to attend their restaurant or attraction. Make sure your team is ready and welcoming and super professional. So now step 5, the last step. Basically, you're not going to want to just drop the ball after having this event. You're going to want to continue this relationship because this is often the hardest part, is getting media and influencers to come and notice you for the first time and attend your business. So now you're going to want to send a thank you, usually 24 hours after the event. Ideally, you're going to want to send them some raw B-roll, maybe even an edited short little clip that they can use. I want to emphasize that it's important to offer both horizontal and vertical video, but if you can only do one, I'd say horizontal video just because it's kind of a pain for social media, but people will use it. But TV media finds it much harder to use vertical video. And then keep the door open for further collaborations. You might also consider sending the B-roll to those who weren't able to attend your event and inviting them to attend your business a future time. And you're gonna wanna keep up that contact with the media and influencers. Pay attention to their content, see where maybe your business could fit in, and start a really fruitful relationship. This can be a two-way road. The payoff, why this works. I think media and influencers attending a business are probably one of the most important ways a business, especially one doing their own PR and marketing without a huge budget, can build buzz and increase their sales. For example, if you're throwing a food event at cost, let's say your food, cost is $800 to $1,000. That might seem like a lot, but the payoff that you can get can be huge. I just want to share this example from a client of ours, B&D Trap Barbecue in Fort Lauderdale. I know some people might say, oh, well, no one, looks at traditional media anymore. And I understand why you might think that, but people do. We had this client featured on Deco Drive, which is an entertainment program in South Florida, and the next day they could not keep up with the business. We basically saw a huge spike in sales, and that lasted for several weeks. So again, there's the amount you might spend for the food, the drink, maybe little extras at cost. That is an investment, but this is an investment that can give you a 2 or 3 time ROI. And think about it. If influencers and media are creating content, that content lives on. And when people are searching for things, you might show up. When people are looking at influencers' feeds, it's not like, for example, paid ads, which are also important, but maybe pricier in the long run. This is a one-time investment that can really keep giving for a while. So to recap, here are 5 steps to build buzz and increase sales for your hospitality business, all without breaking the bank. Step 1 is create an irresistible experience. Step 2 is create an irresistible invite. Step 3, create shareable moments, for example, providing high quality photo and video. Step 4, prepare your team. And step 5, create and maintain relationships. Thank you for watching your marketing blueprint today. If you want a step-by-step checklist for hosting your own event for media and influencers to bring them to your hospitality business, check out the link in my show notes. Please like, subscribe, or share. This is a new channel, and hopefully you'll spread the word to other hospitality entrepreneurs who might find this information valuable. Please leave a message in the comments about other topics about PR and marketing, DIY, bootstrapped efforts to build sales for your business you'd be interested in learning about. And thank you so much for joining me today.